Hello everyone, this is a grumpy old guy gaming, and as it says, we're heading online in .hack fragment to a newer server on the list. This is Dissociative Children, as it's listed on the server list. Fort Oof is the root town, fantastic root town, very underrated for its aesthetics, and a later game root town, so if you're looking for a bit stronger level of healing item or some better weapons or gear to get you through an area in the story mode that you're stuck in, perhaps, this is a great viable alternative to places like Shining Darkness and Crab that have Leofail, the net slum sort of endgame root town with the super high power and therefore high price default items in it. This is a step down both in cost and power, but a great alternative and really a fantastic layout. It's spread out between these little sort of bridged islands, and you get some great aerial feels. It's just a different feel altogether to root towns. I'm not going to go into detail on the words list. I typically do an online server tour every October, and the plan is still in the books to do that this year. Can't make any promises, but I think that's a tradition I would like to keep going as a little stamp in time each fall as to how Fragment's doing and where we're at. Taking a look at the word list, though, I could show you through some random words. Humming Mangled Garden. This is a level 1 server. It's brand new and therefore needs a little help leveling up. So if you get a chance, hop in and play a couple levels, get the server some much needed experience. 2, if you've got a newer character, you could level with it. And 3, these words are not your default list that comes when a server is hosted. Somebody has went in and played out these words. I'm interested to know if they have any custom areas. That might be something to delve into later. But for now, we're just going to go to this level 4 Waterfield adhered to Feverish Daydream and see what kind of mischief we could get into. Running Gogs, my heavy blade. Notoriously a heavy blade. I started running A to show off the offline story, and B to run the Sword Excalibur, which is a higher level non-rare heavy blade weapon in the game. And we're not going to be seeing anything in the way of severe difficulty here. That's not why we're running this at all, just to kind of get a feel for what you could expect. Got quite a bit of portals out here. I'm going to try and finish them off on the quicker side. You can see a great mix of early level enemies. Some swordmanoids. There's a deadly moth with the skyfish. It's really a mix of enemies that after a while you just don't see. I don't really have any characters of a super low level. I want to say Weetie is my lowest level at 48 at this point. Gogs I really haven't run in a while, so I wanted to get a run in. And while this run in itself isn't benefiting me, being able to get some quick experience for this server, like I said, might be a bit of a boon in the long run. As servers level up, the procedurally generated fields will level with it, so you'll get to see a bit of a different difficulty array. Just casting some magic at the moth, as they tend to be tissue paper versus magical attacks. It also gives you a chance to really enjoy the scenery of these places. I believe this is a snow type field, as opposed to an ice type field. Usually I think the ice type fields are the ones with the frozen mammoths and the little uh, areas where fish had perhaps burst through the ice. Here you have a nice tranquil snowy field. You've got a very picturesque sort of background box with a bright blue sky and all sorts of mountains and whatnot. Honestly, not going to be making much of anything in the way of money for this run. And while I may continue to keep rig same up, I'm probably going to just skip rig game. I don't see myself using that much in the way of SP here. Draw distance is something I really don't think about these days with modern games, but it is sort of interesting watching the foreground sort of melt back into existence as you run towards the horizon in a game. Just see landmarks and whatever appear. I remember the PlayStation 1 era racing games were both terrible and awesome for that. Catch that skyfish before it even gets in melee range. Weird that the wagon came so much later that only the wheels are covered, but these buildings are covered to the point where this, clearly being like a tower or church steeple, is all the way up near the roof before you get uncovered. Unless that is one horrifically deep snow pocket, of course. Love to see the critical hits here. And of course, cordyceps is our grunty food out here. We'll have that, golden eggs, and probably I don't really know what kind of dungeon we'll have on the inside. But I'm thinking bearcat eggs may be the other one. We'll have to see inside if my guess was right or not. And yes, I do commentary as I record. I very seldom do in post anymore, simply because time is of the essence, and I'm just trying to maximize what I could do in the window I have available to do it. Got one more wandering monster that just popped up before I hit the dungeon entrance, so we'll take care of this deadly moth. And a symbol beyond that. So let's grab a free buff. At Vax, not really going to help us or hurt us. But into the dungeon we go. Starting out in the first floor here, we can already see stairs down. Getting my pertinence back up, including the rig game I said I'd probably skip, but such is life. Just like Repkosai, my Blade Master, who has appeared in, I would say, a couple videos at this point. I went out of my way to get higher level gear just to have Aptu, Rig Game, and Rig Same. It's not the exact same armor set for Gogs, because I did try and theme this a little bit on my little geeky fondness for Arthurian legend. So if we pull up the gear real quick, we've got Excalibur as my main weapon. Shichishito is a katana type, which allows me to hit multiple enemies with my skills. So that's a viable backup / farming weapon. The Usurper Helm at level 99 gives me an instance of null damage and rig same. Paladin Mail is the armor I'm carrying, fits with the knight theme, and gives me rig game at a fairly decent protection rate, not the ultimate armor for this class type. Sprite hands are just basically a glove. I suppose they could be replaced with anything else. And then Lone Leg Mail, which I suppose could also give me an instance of null damage. They don't stack, So just having one is more than enough. Gonna try using my window trick here. Get that snip snap out of the way, and catch this swordmanoid before it can turn the corner. Obviously, these things didn't really stand a chance anyway, but if you're playing a caster type, just trying to tuck into that window there is a good chance to take out smaller or medium enemies without them really being able to get a hit in on you. And I say smaller and medium enemies because recently I found that the spin figures and drill idols can actually do their sort of piercing attack right between the little gap there. Here we've got a snip snap and a deadly moth. The kind of enemy mix that would probably give you nightmares, sub-level 5. And sure enough, we do have a bearcat egg here. Not going to say it happens all the time, but certainly happy to guess correctly. One more portal here in the first. Moving down to the second now. Refreshing buffs as one does. And we can see we're at least going 3 floors deep on this adventure. Stairs down right beneath us. Might be saying, wouldn't it be easier for me to just get a quick clear and get this over with? But again, every enemy we kill isn't just theoretically giving us experience if we're in the level range to get it. It's definitely giving experience to the area server. I believe that gets collected upon retrieval of the statue chest at the very bottom. So it's kind of become an unspoken etiquette, at least within the small play group that I was fortunate enough to play in, to try and clear as much as possible in an effort to help level up the servers. Obviously, sometimes time doesn't work out, and sometimes you find yourself in a bit hairier situation than you thought it might be. At which case you just kind of get what you can and make it out to live to tell the tale, as it were. Or sometimes, if you're like me, you just die, level down, and carry on from there. Not an issue we'll be having here, of course. Love these larger rooms, especially love them when I'm recording because I get a chance to show them off without all of the lag that comes from running my streaming setup, which works out nicely for me and is low tech enough that I can understand it. You got the old bottomless pit there. Sometimes I kind of wish you could truly free cam and just sort of check out some of these things, like just how bottomless that bottomless pit is. Picking up a nice flow there as we just continue cruising through this second floor. See if we could... Nope. I was going to try catching the whole portal with that Rai Rom spell, but the swordmanoids came out on completely opposite sides of the portal there. Suppose I could have waited a moment for them to group together, but wouldn't really have changed the time that battle actually wound up being. In the time I've been babbling about other things, we've added disco knives to the monster list. Believe there's one more portal right by the stairs there, so let's go clear that out. Another thing I really haven't seen that much of, apologies on that cough there. If it made it into the final cut, I may have gone back and edited it out. I may not have. Tough for me to tell at this moment because, again, at the time we're talking, we're not done yet. But that's 2 floors down. See a bunch of smaller and medium rooms here, and certainly getting our fill of portals, though there is that one without. Potentially a final floor, but kind of tough to say this early on. Just in case, let's get nice and formal and get all of the buffs attached to gear together. Pair of snip snaps. Don't ask me how I missed that second one there. They're giant crab monsters. But miss it I did. One thing I didn't miss were a pair of treasure chests. And a golden egg. This being one of the few characters I have that hasn't maxed out on them as of yet. Again, a very generous dungeon, as it were. There is a potential statue room, and it's certainly lining up to be a final floor here. Big old critical. 3,000, not the most exciting of numbers we've pulled today. And yeah, you can see no stairs down, so we'll have 2 portals here. I did see one of our earlier hits did hit the 5-digit range. So we got that nice little bit of gratuitous damage in. These rooms over here are actually ones I don't talk about too much, but they're kind of my favorite to hit when partied up. One person, of course, gets to grab the treasure chest, but each person in a party of 3 can just grab a side of this room here as they're lined on both sides and the back with 3 breakables, usually 6 barrels, 3 on each side, and then 3 crates here to the back. And you could each just grab a wall and hope for little trinkets to come out of here, things like health drinks, antidotes, and whatever elemental boosting item would be appropriate for that dungeon type. I guess it would be field element type that sets that, not dungeon type. My apologies. There's our all clear. One more critical hit, and we'll finish off with a spell just for the heck of it. Check out the statue chest before we wrap this up. It's going to be on the smaller side for recent uploads. I've been trying to do a quality, if not quantity, approach this summer while I've had a chance to dive back in a little bit. But as the Statue of Marrows hovers and looks on, we'll grab the chest, which of course breaks the seal, giving us a Wormhide, Resurrect, and Speed Charm. So nice little low-level mix. You could see the Marrows statue just sort of poking out of the little bowl there. By little I mean massive, because that of course was a full-on statue hovering in there. Got plenty of things to sell, though, you know, again, it's lower level stuff because it's a lower level server. But like I said, perhaps you're starting out, perhaps you're stuck in an area getting a little frustrated, just need a little palate cleanser. This again has been the Dissociative Children server. Just wanted to take a quick look and point out one of the newer servers currently available as of the time of this recording in .hack fragment. My thanks to the server host and to you guys for checking these videos out. I like making them, and I like knowing that people enjoy what I'm putting out there in the world. This has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming. Thanking you for watching. Take care, and we'll see you around.